So yeah, we were talking a lot about what this is, this sustainable digital finance. Also yesterday in our session, where we really got deeper in 3 hours, and we observed that bringing together three dimensions here: sustainability, digitalization, and finance, brings a lot of exciting approaches, concepts. However, it might be also a little bit confusing because we tend to bring together two dimensions. That is possible, but bringing together three might be a little bit hard. So we put together some examples, and Sandy and also Bob presented us some good ones. So I think we don't go deeper here. But it's just about briefly talking about financial inclusion, for example, tracking of carbon footprints out of payments data, or green token marketplaces for offsetting carbon emissions. So there are a lot of examples here where technology for sustainable finance is really key. And what we also can see, and these numbers were also brought by Ingrid this morning, they are from the UN and from OECD, and they pretty much show that there is a big potential around. However, we can also see that these numbers are top down. So the question is, what is really the potential here? And I think for that, we really need to go into the data itself and really show what it is all about. However, if you look, you can approach it from different angles, and that is what the data here is showing. So, for example, you can start with the consumer. Sustainable consumption is something where we can also start. Very often, however, we don't have really transparency of what our behavior has an impact of. So take yourself, what is your carbon impact today? Are you traveling by bike, by car? You're going by plane? What are you eating? Other habits. So much of that can be extracted, for example, from payments data and from other data. So there is a kind of a potential here. On the other end, you can do that by embedding sustainability into business models. So this is more the provider side. There is also a big potential here. And we, for example, analyzed some startups in that field and saw that many of them now make a shift towards embedding sustainability as a core element as their business models and not attaching it to it like many of the incumbents do. So like that's what Bob this morning mentioned. So just following this ESG trend, I think if you want to really put it at the core of your business model, it requires much more effort, and it's a totally different game here. And then there is, of course, the capital markets. This is also a fundamental part of it. Well, there are different estimates how big it is. However, there are also ways to embed this also here. So these are all areas where we can see that sustainability in finance with data is really key. However, as I said, all these numbers are very broad. So it's just estimates how big it is. So we have to, and that is what we want to do here in this center. We want to start really with the data here on the bottom. We want to provide much more research-driven insights of what it is all about, what the impact really is, and how we can change that. That's the third layer here with technology. Then we believe that there is new ways of governance and regulation also required for that. Because as you see also on this slide, it requires that you bring together public and private sectors. Only if you do that, then you will be able to really make a move forward. I like Bob's observation this morning, and that was it is really how it is. And if we were able to do that, on a platform like this, on a neutral university-driven platform, I believe we can really make progress here. And the third thing is on top of that, and that is an observation we make for many, many years now. So these digital ecosystems that you can see in many sectors, be it energy, be it mobility, or many others, are emerging. And one key element in this is the financial system or the financial sector too. Money is key and capital is key. So if you can provide that in a digital and a more sustainable way, it also enables more sustainable ecosystems. And I think this is the future. But we first have really to build this layer on the bottom and then move all the other ways up. So that is our, let's say, research framework agenda, how that we see for the next years. And of course, we have to fill this with life. It's very broad, but it is, I think, the intention. And how we want to do that, we want to give a brief overview now.
The very frequent question that we got it from our advisors and the supporters and also collaborators is, why not you do it in under one university, boundary, like we can build up a center at Stanford University and so on. It was our intention to be going beyond of like a one specific university's boundary to do more things. And then we believe that this is the first institution of this kind of connecting the academics and markets. But there are many are doing this. But I think we're tackling maybe some of you who joined late. We try to tackle three kind of like a merging point. One is between the academics and market, but the second is between across the different disciplines. And also the third part is, within the market, there's a public and private sector. So we try to go over many other like silos and boundaries and so on. So that's what we are trying to do. And in that regard, having this center and this foundation is very unique. So as just, to kind of chime again on, what are the key points that we want to deliver from this unique setting is to deliver a interdisciplinary ideas and innovative ideas that is implementable. So once, we have some ideas, we want to get this idea to be implemented. This one is, going beyond the one academic research. So that type of thing will be possible here. And we also highlight the equity and inclusivity. So we are talking about, from this morning, we'll be talking about consumers, we are talking about suppliers, we are talking about policymakers and everything. So we want to get all those stakeholders on on page in non-competitive and non-controversial environment, and then do some innovative things. The last thing is a global reach. So we want to do this to have more global coverage. So for a very long time, especially I'm from sustainable finance background, sustainable finance is very much locked in the United States and Europe because they are the two continents that does a lot of sustainable finance. However, we have to really think about other parts of the world. However, simply copy and paste whatever the models or the tools and or the settings is not going to be workable.
Ideas around like capital formation, which we discussed, ways of energy transition that you can do with it, for example. So really to invest in infrastructure in a broader sense. So this is the way how we think if we build kind of groups across these different topics consisting of researchers and also practitioners and policymakers, and really concentrate on this early phase then we can think that we can really make a difference here. The second element is the so-called policy accelerator. And when you look out today and say, hey, there is technology innovation around, that is great. Many things can be done. And we observed this with blockchain and with AI. But just these days, if you read in the newspaper that AI, that Sam Altman might go out of Europe because regulation might not follow the paths as he wants it to do, then you see that technology innovation and regulation and policy development is always a little bit in a clinch. So how to overcome that? Well, the most basic and easiest thing is to bring people together in a room and to talk about that. And we believe that you then, well, we've seen a lot of round tables and workshops. However, people tend to go there, they go out of the room, they take something with them, but then work stops here. We believe that you have to make this a continuous program, bring people together and bring them together to do that in a kind of an accelerator program, which is moderated, which is also enriched by mentors that have expertise in different fields. And then you can even overcome maybe cross-jurisdictional topics. So that is the second element here with which we think that we can bring forward these radical ideas that are developed in the lab and then brought to the policy accelerator. So that is the team that we currently have put together. You can see here on the top the advisory board, and you saw already two of them speaking here, Bob and Sandy, which are also part of that. We also have Thorsten Hurt. You will see Mike here later on, who is also part of that in the panel discussion. Juliette is also part of the panel discussion, and Bill Tai, an early venture capital investor, for example, in Zoom and other things, who specifically concentrates on sustainability here. And we have a team here that is in parts of it also in the room. Sharon and Pyunjung, who are also part of that. You might have been in contact with them, and we're also happy that they are here as of today. And the three of us, of course, who are bringing this forward. So that is the start here. Of course, we are continuing to complement that with other experts here. And looking forward and to bring all these formats that you saw here on the street.